show must go on. That's all I can say. What a week I have had. I won't go into detail, but let me tell you, you don't want to hurt your foot ever or have any kind of surgery on your foot. But that's what it is. And here I am. I'm back, and I'm hoping we can go forward today. What I would like to do is I would like to just do a few finishing touches on Eloise, just to kind of wrap that up. And then I'm going to go on to some pieces of jewelry that, you know, have been around for a while and I treasure them. And I think it's, you know, and I'm going to do like, I think 1 or 2 pieces. And then I would like to see what everyone else has been doing and sharing this week. So that's kind of where we are. Okay, so let me go right to the table. And what I'm going to do first is, well, let me show you. I have to keep talking, although I can. Okay. Now, I don't know that everyone has seen some of the things I've done. Like I added Weenie, and I added Skip-to-Dee over here, the turtle, and I put some more detail in her. I took off some of the, I had masking fluid on the shoes to show the shine of the little highlights. And I put her tag. She had a tag that said, Madam Alexander presents Eloise. And I didn't do much more to the face. I finished the eye. But now my big decision, and this is a decision I think that a lot of people make when they're painting. Should I do a background? Should I not do a background? Where is that going to take me? Now that I've done all this painting and I sort of like it, will this ruin everything? Well, that's always a possibility. So just keep that in mind. It's always a possibility, but don't fret over it. You know, it's only a piece of paper. You can certainly do it again. And, you know, it's just time, and don't try to fret too much. And my other advice always is paint your own version of what you see. So if you see something and it's, you know, you want to see it more abstractly, then go that route. If you want to see it more realistically, please go that route. But I'm giving you I take the middle of the road most of the time. It's not super realistic and it's not, you know, abstract. I've done abstraction on some pieces, but I struggle with that. I guess I like to see things the way they are. Okay, what I've done is I've mixed up color here that I'm thinking I would like to put in the background. I'm going to use it kind of in a washy way. I'm not going to actually try to make an exact, I'm going to try to treat it as a soft edge, like it's from a storybook. So I'll show you what that means. And if it gets kind of drippy, don't anybody fret, because I won't either. Before I do that, pardon? Oh, before I do that, I did take some masking fluid and I wrote Weenie up here. And I wrote Skip-to-Dee over here. So I'm going to go right over those with the color, and then they're going to come up white. I may not leave them white, but for right now, they're going to come up white because I don't want to have to paint it. Okay, so here's the color. I've mixed it in a separate little pan here because I need more of it. So here we go, kids.
Karen, what did you do the masking fluid in? A brush or just from the tip? From the tip of the thing.
Bottle. You know that little bottle I use?
Right. Yeah, okay. You wrote it directly from the bottle. Okay.
Yeah, and you know what? It takes practice, but that's okay. You know, and what I do is I always try it first on a piece of paper, and I tried my color to see if I liked it. This one was too red. This one's, you know, a little warmer. So I'm thinking I'm going this way. Okay. And you know, I went back and I did do my little roadmap of her to begin with. And I said, you know, I do like her with color around her. It seems to liven up because there's a lot of light areas. So that was my guide. I said, well, you know, this, and this is my guide. So I'm just going to go with my gut and my guide, both. Okay. And what you might do, paint will only go where water is. So if you add a little bit of water onto the page and then you put your paint on, and it may stop it from going into the painted area. So let me show you what that means. Okay, I'm going to start on this side, and it's a good thing that I have like her, she's almost at the top of the page there, so that's good, that's good. So I'm just putting some clear water here as just a stopping point for me. And now I'm gonna go with the big, this is an 18-inch brush. Ooh, wow, yahoo. Okay, here we go. It's always exciting when that happens. And go right over the masking fluid, right up to your image, right over top, around. Now, when you get to little things like this little turtle, you have to be kind of, careful. Okay. Now I have this edge here, and you see it really didn't go into her hair. I have to go back and kind of touch that up. But what I like to do right away is soften this outside edge, so it doesn't look like it has a hard line. So I'm just going to put water on that outside edge, and maybe rinse again, and maybe even vignette. This is called vignetting because it goes off quietly to softness. So that's a vignette. Okay. So now when that dries, it's going to, sort of go off to nothing on the page. Okay. Now we'll go down underneath her skirt, and there will be a shadow on top of this color, but you always put your shadow in last. That's the last thing. Okay. Because anything that's in shadow always comes on top of your image. Okay, so here we go. Moving along. I'm not disappointed in this color or, nervous about it. I think it's the right thing. Okay, now I'm going to go up here, around. And if it goes over your image a little bit, you can always remove it with clear water. Now the same thing is going to happen here at this edge where I want to soften it, because I don't want to have one soft side and one, hard edge side. So I'm just adding water to bring some of that color, the lightness over there. Now,
Karen, we're not seeing that corner piece that you're doing.
Well,
yeah,
you'll have to.
Right. I'm just,
yeah, you'll have to wait because there's only so much room. But okay. I will move it up, so
not a problem.
I will move it up, I promise. And then going around the skirt here a little bit, up the leg, around the arm. Okay, now we're going to get up here by Mr. Weenie. What a name for a dog, huh? Weenie. And pugs are
depends on the dog.
Pugs are pretty fashionable now, but I don't know that he was fashionable when these books were written. I think that was very daring, a very daring choice for a dog, but perfect for her because she was mischievous. And I think pugs can be like that. They're in that same character. Okay, going up and over the masking fluid once again, around the dog. Now here, I'm going to go up to around him. Now, sometimes I change brushes, but in this case, I'm not going to. And when you get to the hair, you want to also think of that vignette feeling. So I'm going to rinse the brush, tap it off a little bit, go in there and soften and now you can see, I'll move this over in a minute and you'll be able to see the vignetted edge. And I'm going to treat that same vignette feeling right around the edge of her hair, because if it was too hard, it would look very unnatural. Okay, so now there we go. We've made it around the page. Okay, now I'm going to save that color, because if I want, say you liked what you did, and then you said, well, it's not really dark enough, I want to go over it again. When this is completely dry, that's a possibility. I have gone over things, to darken and lighten things all the time if I save the paint. But you can see that that's really livening up the image. You can see that it really it made a difference, especially around the dog, around her hair. And it may not be perfectly painted, but I want you to just see the method. When I do these demos, it's not like when I'm painting by myself, and I'm very, very focused and careful. But this is to show you why someone would put a background in, is a background something you like or don't like? And, is something that does it enhance your painting? You can try it. And I think in this case, it does enhance the painting. And and if you get some, water lines that you're not really liking, that's the reason to keep your paint to go over again. And if there's a blossom forming, you can get in there and, smush around a little. There's a word for you, smush. Okay. There we go. That's whether to put a background in or not. And I think it'll work. Now, when this dries, which I'm sure it will during class, I'm going to actually take off the masking fluid so you can see what's what. All right. So now you could see that corner. You can see all the corners, right? Everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Now, before we go on to anything else, I'm not going to actually add anything else to this painting. I might get in and do something with her hair a little bit. Let's see. Maybe we'll try to do that. She's sitting across the room from me, so I'm just gonna can't bring her into focus right now. But the main thing is when you're looking at these images, and because they're real and right in front of you, you can see shadows and lights and darks much better than you would if it was a photograph. In a photograph, you have to work at it a little harder. But remember one thing: the lights and the darks and the middle tones are going to make your painting. So I'm going to do something a little. I'm wondering if I can put my hand on that. No. Well, we'll try. I'll try it this way. And she's got this sort of unruly hair, but I'm going to put some darks in here so that we can, see how really unruly it can be. But, it's blonde, it's straw-like, it's wispy, but, just give your brush that, that feeling of, fun and free, because that's what she looks like. And then now it sort of looks like, the hair is all one color, but in reality, there's going to be some darks and lights. There's especially going to be some darks next to her face. You can see what's happening there. And then I'm just going to put some, I'm going to ad-lib this a little bit, put some, little pieces here and there. And the same thing over here. Now, when I started to paint this, I did indicate some darks for myself so that I could go back and put them in. But, and then where you see them, really darken them up. Remember, darks can be your friend. They seem a little scary when you're working with them, but they really can be your friend, and they really will. You see the difference? I mean, it made a huge difference for me to see some of that, definition. I'm going to put some over this area too. Whoops, sorry, we're rocking and rolling here. Okay. Okay, so background, I wanted to put some type on. You can always put lettering on that. I could have done a great big Eloise, but I thought the tag was a little nicer feel to that. Also, on her hands, she has like the stitching that really says doll, when you look at it. And let me get her for a minute and I'll show you what it's like. Okay. We're off camera, but we're coming back. Okay. If you see, if you see the hands, for instance, you can see that there's little, it's stitching down the side and stitching. Whoa, that's not a good sign. Stitching on the fingers. It's just straight little lines. You see them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's better. Okay, so I'm going to put some of that in because that says doll-like to me. And the same thing happens with, well, the legs are straight on, but that's okay. But the shoes and the socks, I did indicate that. It would have been cute to have her. I don't know whether you guys can see this. She has like pantaloonies under there. Not really.
Bloomers.
Okay.
Those are bloomers. Bloomers.
Eloise with her bloomers. Kate Thompson, who was a a very fashionable lady, was the writer, and Hilary Knight was the illustrator of Eloise, and they worked as a team for years. And I think they did some beautiful things together. All right, let me put some stitching in now. If I go back and look at that sort of doll skin tone, I used some red, a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow. And what is the last color? Anybody remember?
Blue.
Yes, thank you. Yay.
Not purple? I thought purple.
Well, no, no, well, hey, it could be purple if you want to make it darker like that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just go down to where her hand is, and let me take a look at her hand one more time. That's the thing about painting in person, as we say. So I'll put the thumb in like that, and then just 1, 2, 3, 4 lines that are going to indicate the fingers. Okay, and I'm going to try to smooth out that edge so it looks like a, a mitt, as they say. Okay, on the other side, and she does have a line coming down, and I think I'm going to put that in there, just to say doll. I think that's what says doll. Okay, on the other side, let's see. There's the thumb about here, and then we have these little stitching things. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go around this a little bit just to emphasize that a little bit, and then give it that same stitching down the side, and sort of clean up this edge a little bit.
Karen, what size brush are you using now?
This is a 4, and
Thank you.
I use it for small things, obviously. So we have, I wouldn't do too much more. I wouldn't do much more on the, here's a good example of what to do when. Oh, excuse me, hit my head. What happens if you go over an area? Like I went over this, what is this? What is this? Yikes. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. I don't know what that was. mystery thing. Say you go, I'm looking at this and I went over with the background too much on the leg. Do you see that? So I'm going to take my scrubber. Now I'm going to see this is pretty dry, and you should only use a scrubber when something is dry. You wet your scrubber, this is what it is. It's a little brush and it's got a stiff, very stiff bristle end. And what you can do is you can go back on the leg, and you can very, very slowly and carefully lift that paint off. You just keep with the scrubber. It does exactly what its name is. You see? And it lifted it right off. So now the background is not coming over the leg anymore. The same thing happened on the other side here. You see this blob that came over? I'm going to do the same thing so you can see it again. So there's always a way to work with things. You shouldn't fret about, oh my God, the background went over. What am I going to do? You get yourself a little scrubber, and they have them in all the art stores, and they come in a 3-pack, usually large, medium, small. But they really are a great help. So now the blob is missing. So on both sides, we have that going on. Okay. All right. Now I want to see if this is dry enough to take off. I don't think it is. So we're going to go to, anybody have any questions so far on where we are with this? No? Okay.
No, this is Carol Finkel. Just wanted to apologize. I had a lot of trouble getting on today. Anytime I had joined, nothing happened, but I'm here now.
Well, they're having trouble at the command center there. Whatever that, I don't know, what's ever going on there. But anyway, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Karen?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Karen, I'm sorry, it's Kathy. I just wonder what size paper did you use or pad?
This particular pad, let's see, let me give you a measure. I think it's a 16 by 12. I like this size. It's not too big, not too small, but you know, it works out well. And this is on a block, but if you don't get a block, then you can just take a piece of paper and make sure you secure it to your surface. Okay? So,
Thank you.
I mean, there may be some final little noodling in here and around there. And what I may do is once this type comes off white, I may go in with a drop shadow. And that's what I'd like to show you is how to do that drop shadow today. So I'm hoping in a few minutes we'll get that to dry a little bit. Okay, now let me go on to, any other questions on this? No? Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go on to the next thing, which, okay. I'm going to use a different size pad for this one because I'm working with smaller pieces. This pad, I think is 9 by 12. Let's check it out. Yeah, 9 by 12. That's also a really good size for the desk here.
Karen, I have a question. Do you always work on that like angled border? Or is that just for the class that you're doing that?
Yeah, it's just for the class because normally everything would be flat. Because if it's not flat or if it's not angled, it's not good for the camera. Okay, so that's the story. Sad but true. Let me tell you, it's more difficult to paint on an angle with watercolors, but that's what we're doing here. So that's good. Okay, now I've marked this off so that I can lift this up a little bit, and I'm going to tape the pad down. Now I've picked out 3 pieces, and I plan to do this drawing right in front of you because I want to. Sometimes I like to start right from the beginning so you see. I mean, it's not just about putting the paint on the paper. It's about the plant, the actual plan. Okay, so I have, the first thing I'd like to look at is that this is a locket, and it's from my husband's family. It's an Italian gold thing, but the thing I liked about it, and let me see if I can enlarge that. Okay, I'm gonna try to bring this up bigger. Which I can't, but I'm gonna bring the camera in tighter. There we go. That's better. All right, and let me see about is this light better? No, that's good. All right, so now looking at a piece of jewelry like this, you know, it has some pattern to it, has intricacies. It's actually a locket. So if you wanted to, you could, you could make that part of the whole painting. You could have it slightly ajar if you wanted to, show that, oh, it's a locket, but then you wouldn't see the detail, or you could angle it and then just have a little bit of the locket opening. And I think this is more about the locket than it is about the chain. So if I was going to do something, I would, make it kind of short. The other thing is this old cameo, which is kind of interesting. It's got a very beautiful, let me see if I can tape that on there. And I'm just going to do some very quick little pieces on this, but I want to show you different techniques with each one. So there she is. And let me see if I can angle that better.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And the last thing.
Oh my
which is
gosh, Karen, I have one so much like that. It's Cheryl.
Oh, you do? Oh, wow. Okay.
And it came from Italy.
There you go. You can tell when they come, when they're imported. They're just the actual work around the outside, and the actual card is so much
Just
different.
like that. Just like that.
Wow. How about that? Mass produced. I hope not. Oh, this is so special, one of a kind. Well, There's about, there's about 2,500
Maybe.
other ones out there. And the last thing I was considering was this little charm bracelet that I have. But the thing I like about it, if it's not going to sit still on an angle, so this is probably not going to work. But the thing I liked about it, and I might just do this flat for the class later, is that, you know, it has some near and dear things, like when my son was born, my granddaughter, there's a little duck, there's a ladybug. So, you know, this has some memories to it. And I like the chunkiness of the chain. So I thought this was kind of a cool thing to paint. It also will have a lot of highlights. So a lot of either masking or, you know, leaving whites. So this has got to look really crisp and metal-like.
The bracelet's not on camera. It's hard to see.
All right, let me see if I can, how is that? There we go.
Perfect. Thank you.
So you can see what it's about. It doesn't want to behave on, well, I could just have it up there so we can see it. Okay, now I don't know what all of your choices have been. I've seen things during the week, and you know, I think some of them are really cool and, you know, obviously treasures to all of you. So let me start with the cameo in the middle. So I'll pull these guys up a little bit off of view so we can concentrate on one thing. All right. So looking at this, and this little, I don't know, Cheryl, can yours also be a necklace?
Absolutely.
I should have known. Anyway, there's a little loop thing at the top.
They
Oh
call
my
it-
God.
EALE.
Okay. All right. Well, looking at something like this, when you're doing a watercolor, and you know, I could probably break this page up into thirds, and maybe I'll just divide it up for myself right now, because I did that the other day and it was very successful. All right. So this is
Now it looks
6.
like Eustace.
This is 9. So let's see, 4 and a
It looks
half.
ahead of the other.
Okay. And it's a good thing for you to do for yourself to, you know, take a page, divide it up, and then do several small things on there. Okay, so now I've divided this into like quarters. Let's see, go straight. Okay. All right. So now looking at that, you can see the I'm trying to figure out which one to draw, which quadrant to draw this in, so it would be the best. Maybe right below it. Let me move everybody over a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to be here, right down here. All right, and I'll move this up. There we go. Okay, so what I would do is, first of all, you're going to look at the shape. Now, I might put this on going the other way. Of course, make that decision at the last minute, because it's an oval, but it's facing the, you know, it's facing the other way. So I'm going to make this change. Hang in there with me, people. You just don't know. That's why you got to plan ahead, as they say. Okay. All right, so let's see now. I turn her around. See if I'm going to get better imagery. Okay. All right. Okay. So now you know why I turned it around, because these boxes are more vertical. In this case, let's see, I'm trying to think of which one is better to draw in. Okay, I think I'll be here. All right, so what I would do is, and I know I'm going to probably want to have a shadow around it, so I'm just going to do the shape of it first. It's an oval, but it's a very kind of wide-ish oval. So you give yourself very light drawing, and remember, in watercolor, it's about not overdrawing. Okay, because you're going to be, the main object is to draw with your brush. Keep that in mind. So don't overdraw with your pencil, draw with your brush. Okay, now I'm actually going to put that bring the border in so I can see how wide I want that border. And also, there's these little notches, and I'm gonna sort of indicate them to myself by going around and just making a little notch in there. They're very slight, but you don't want to forget that they're there. So that's something you do right away. And then, of course, at the top, and then that little loopy thing. I think that's sort of a nice thing. So I'm gonna try to bring that. I'm gonna try to bring that up, and it comes right out of the top. So it's, one of these jobs. Okay, and if it falls back, then that's okay too. All right, so we'll go around, we'll do our notching. Now, and you're gonna notice there's a lot of highlights on here. And I'm gonna put some masking fluid on as soon as I get a little more drawing down, and I feel a little more comfortable with that. And if you're sketching and it's becoming too wide or too overbearing. Okay. All right. Now, as far as the figure goes, I'm going to treat this as a contour drawing. I'm not going to try to grid it out and make it exact. I also want to indicate on the left-hand side, there's a shadow that comes all the way in and down like that. And then there's one that comes out from this side and goes into the bottom as well. So those are kind of reminders to me, and you should be thinking about that as well. Okay, so starting at the top, she's got all these like really cool curls. And then when you come down, she's got really cute little nose, mouth. And it's amazing that these people carved this stuff from shells. I mean, cameos come from a shell, and they actually take out, part of the shell, and what's left is the imagery. Okay, so going around, and now going back up to the top where the curls were, and the hair around, and don't fret too much that it's not exact. She's got like a headband here. I guess this is very what is that, the empire, where what's his name, Napoleon was in charge, or he thought he was in charge. Anyway, okay. And then she's got those curls around the nape of the neck. Now, what's happening here is that when you come in for the neck, you're gonna this, and then you're gonna come down from the hairline, and it goes right into the neck and down like this. And then you're gonna come over where her dress line is. There's a little something going on back here. And then this is probably part of her arm. And then the front of the dress. Like that. And then there's the eye. And there's a little bit of curls going on here. And I think there's some lines going on in that. You just got a piece of hair that comes across. So you just want to have the character of something. You're not out to do a portrait exactly. And then you're not going to overdraw, because this is something you're going to want to put in in your painting. Now that's a little bit too, forehead's coming out a little too much. Okay, so that's about as much drawing as I think I want at this point. And you notice it's a little high in the box. Well, if I want to get rid of this line, now I'm looking at it, I'm saying, well, why limit myself? I'm going to get rid of the line on top. So it can be a taller painting if it needs to be. But giving yourself some boundaries is a good thing. The other thing I'm going to do right now, while this is waiting, is I'm going to put this locket on top. And
Karen, what letter are you using?
this the pencil,
Yeah.
I think it's an H3 or 5.
Okay.
It's very soft. It's very
Okay.
soft. Okay. All right. So the thing that I like about this is the actual design that's on the front. Now it's really glary in this light. Let me see if I can turn that light a little away. It's a little better, not much. Okay, in this case, I'm going to actually bring this down off of the chain. So I'm going to put a little bit of chain there. It's a little too wide. Wide for this kind of thing. Okay, there we go. And then, you know, it has that hook thing, and then it has another little loop. And there's something about but all of these things that are oval shapes. I'm just noticing that right now. And then this is a real exercise in pattern design. So if you start looking at it and you see, okay, here, and then you've got two things, two pieces in the design, and then it's kind of like an arrow at the bottom. And you can be as exacting or not as you want. Like most of my things are really impressionist like, so I'm taking the impressionist route, and I can make it more finished if I want to, but it just seems like it would be overworked to me. So the most important thing here is this pattern and this ring that go around, and then the way it hooks onto the chain. Okay, so there's two pieces, and then what I might do later is lay down the bracelet and, you know, do a sketch of that. But let me go back to the cameo, and we're going to lay in some paint so we can see how that works. Okay, but you know, this I'm going to put this to the camera so you see the pattern. Okay, you see that loopy thing, and it has flowers in the middle. And it's mainly black and like a rose gold, but there's a lot of highlights to it. So you have to really pay attention to that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is look at the cameo and try to put on some, not very much, but thoughtful highlights. So I have my little bottle here, a handy little bottle. And I see, first of all, up on top of the loop, there's a very distinct highlight. So I'm going to put that in, and then maybe another little one on the side. Then starting at the top is a really bright one right here. And, you know, you can soften these also. They don't have to be all like directly straight line. You could even use a brush if you felt like, you know, it was a little too stiff for you. So I'm putting these little notches in all the way around. And as I'm going, when I get down to this area, I see that there's a really stronger light along that edge. So far, the notches look like they were in charge, but now we're going to put a little more masking fluid here, coming around. And if you do it in these segmented style, it'll work out for you, especially when you go to put the color on. So here, once again, and now we're back to this little notchy look where some of them are long highlights and some of them are short highlights. So, and this side seems to be the darker side, so I'm not gonna put a lot there. Okay, and here we are, back at the top. Okay, so that sort of shows you, you know, where your highlights are, reminding you where your highlights are. Now I noticed, now here's a place where I am going to use a brush. I'm going to put some masking fluid on here, and then I'm going to, and the reason I'm changing from the bottle to the brush is it needs to be a softer shadow on the figure. It can't be like this hard line, so it has to be a softer shadow. So let me get my small brush. Let's see. Okay, there's really a small brush. I want to wet it. You should put it in soapy water, but I'm just, I'm going to go for it because we're on a time strength here. But I'll be careful to wash it out. You should put your brush in soapy water first, then in masking fluid, then back in soapy water. Okay, looking at her, and especially in the hair area, you want to like use the brush with the masking fluid as if you were painting. Not so much deliberate as you were doing before. Now, there's a nice highlight that comes along where her hairline is, and it doesn't have to be like, continuous. You can stop and start, and you can make it a soft line, but it will appear as a soft highlight. There's a few soft highlights out here on the cameo. So once again, with the brush, there's a little flower. And that's when you switch from the pen or the bottle to a brush when you want a softer feel. Okay. I also noticed that on the line of the dress, there's that same kind of feel. So I'm going to put that in there, and make it go from not such an even line, but in the fabric as well. There's going to be some, and these are carved out things. And the thing that's going to make them look carved is when you get in there with your darks and your shadows. Okay, so we have this along the hairline, and I'll tell you, we're going to use the brush too within her hair, because hair is like that. It's not like rigid. It's going to be more brush like, and it's going to have a nicer, freer feel, more natural looking. Okay, and then she's got these little curly things on the top here. I'm going to add those in. And it's masking fluid, so if you don't like it and you want to change it later, you can certainly do that when you paint over it, and you can take it out and make it work better. Okay, so coming off her forehead and her eye, I see there's a little bit, maybe a little tiny soft shadow on her and also on the bottom lip a little bit. So you just add these in, and you can see how you like it when it's on there. Now, if I looked at it at an angle, you can see it actually. You can see the brush strokes on there. Okay. So that's using masking with a brush and with the tube in one particular painting. Now I can't put any paint on that because we've just done the masking fluid. But let's see what we can do with our other one here. Maybe in this case, you know what? In this case, what I'm going to try to do here, I'm going to try to leave the highlight white without masking at all. Okay, it's a little tricky, but that's okay. I'm going to take let's see, this is the number 4, and I'm going to work. There's a couple things happening here. The rose gold locket is one color gold, and then the chain I have is just a yellow gold, but I'm going to make them look similar. I'm going to make them look both rose gold. So I'm going to mix up something right now. I'm going to use my Q gold, which you guys know what that is. And I'm going to mix it with a little red to get that feel of the rose gold. And just like every other time, you want to test your colors on a piece of paper, of course, before you get in there. So that's a little bit too orangey for me. I think we need to go more to the red side. So we're going to mix it up again. And these colors are so delicate that you don't want them to be heavy. You want them to be, now that's a little bit, let's see. Add a little cadmium orange to that. We'll see. It's a little better. It's like a kind of rosy, goldy color. All right, for now, let's pretend like this is the color. And this is a rope chain. So now all I did was draw a line, but what I want to do is start, now, let's see, let me move this over. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. So with the chain, you're going to sort of start to give it this rope look. And it's not going to be as delicate as the actual chain, but it's, you know, when you get done with it, the whole painting should come together because it is a painting, it's not a photograph. So you just go on an angle to make it look like a rope chain all the way down. When you get to the clasp there, the I guess it's a jump loop. You go back to the top and you're going to once again give it that angled rope chain look. Now here I'm leaving a lot of like white spaces in between, and those are going to really guide me as to my highlights. That's what that's about. Okay, and it's going to go right into here. Now this piece that's coming across, the actual, I wish I knew the formal name for this, but, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to leave whites. So for those of you that do not use or don't want to use, what do you call it, masking fluid, well then, you know, go this route, leave your whites. Now there's a ring, and the same thing is going to happen here with the ring. The ring is going to go behind, and there are definite highlights in the ring. So I'm just going to indicate a little thing in the middle. So it's coming down. You can see that. Okay. Now, as far as the actual locket goes, I think in this case, it might be a really good idea to put a wash on all over to indicate that color, because then you can do the black on top. So in this case, I'm going to, and then where I see some really strong highlights, I'm going to leave it, the white showing. There's nothing wrong with that. I think most beautiful watercolors actually leave highlights, leave whites. Okay, so coming along this side over here, you see there's a very strong highlight, like right there. So I'm going to stop and start and come back in again. And if it's not your exact shape, remember you can go back and you can use your scrubber if you have to take anything out as an emergency. Okay, so now I'm going to get into some of this pattern of the design. So bringing in these pieces from each side. There's a little diamond shape there. Bringing this down in the middle and then out. And then, and now if you're more comfortable not drawing more of this design or of whatever you're working on, then by all means draw more. But for me, this is, you know, this is enough drawing. And then there's a piece going around here. And then there's another piece going around here. So one piece we're leaving our highlights to masking fluid. The other piece we're drawing directly. But as this moves along, and you'll see other things take place. Now, what I see right away is there's some ridges, and they shouldn't really be black, but I'm going to try to put some of those in here, just as reminders. And it should be a little drier than this because it's bleeding, but that's okay. All right, and most of this stuff is going to be some nice, handsome black highlights. Okay. All right, so that's kind of direct painting. And if you have a piece of jewelry, think about, you know, doing a couple different pieces. All right, well, I'm going to go back to Eloise for a minute. Any questions here? No. Okay. So give it a shot, because I know everybody has a piece of jewelry that they had around. All right. So let me put
Karen, you just need us to do one piece. You're not looking for us to do multiple pieces.
Oh, no, just do one. I just brought these out to show different styles. Yeah,
Okay.
one piece, you know. Okay, now, let's see, where am I going to put this? There's never enough flat space. And I can post like the next step to these, or maybe they'll even have, you know, more video. Yeah, I think Michelle was saying they're gonna actually have more video. Okay, now we're gonna back up a little bit again. Okay. All right, now let me find where I need my bag of tricks here. Oh, here it is. Something about watercolor painting. There's so much, what do you call it? Material involved. There's so many pieces. Well, if you're really into it. You all know Nancy, and she was away for a couple weeks, and she needed someone to step in for her at the museum. So I did her class art for the non-artist, and one of them was pastels, and the other one was watercolor. And it's like they never saw watercolors ever in their lives. That was quite a deal, but it was fun. I liked it. Had a good time. Okay, so now you can see Weenie and you can Skipper D. Okay, now it's in white, and do you like that? That's great. And you can actually get back in there and get through some of the pencil too that's on there. That's showing through. You can take it off. Okay, so what I'd like to do is just give you a little example of, some shadows. Okay, and I'm going to go around the lettering so you can see that carefully. And then the last few minutes, I would like you to sort of dig out if you have what you've done, and I would just have a few minutes to talk about what everybody, has been doing with their treasures. Okay, in this case, I'm not really using black. Once again, I'm going to use a neutral tint and blue together because I think it has a softer black. So, and this is the number 4, I believe. Number 4. And let's see. Okay, now what I normally do on lettering is I have this kind of rule for myself is left side and under. Left side and under. So if you're going around the type underneath, inside here, down the side of the W and under, left side of that stroke and under, left side and under. So see, Weenie, everybody see how that's shaping up? Okay, and the E's, down, left side, inside, and under. Okay, left side, under, left side of the I, and under, left side of the dot, left side, and here I have a swoopy thing, so I've made that come around. Okay, so I mean, it brings it out. It's something if you want to add type, and and it's not real, not real in your face kind of thing. I think this is kind of a soft way of putting it in there. And you could, put little quotes on here if you want to say, that's his name. Kind of a cute touch. Okay, now I'll do Skipper D so we can see that again. I'm going to bring it closer to the camera. Okay, so it's on the S, it would be left side. And this, this takes practice. It's nothing that happens, overnight. You just have to work at it if you like. Okay. Stop. Underneath. Okay. And a little eye. And under here. And it's something nice to add to your watercolor techniques, that you can do some lettering when you need to or want to, because it adds something to it. Okay, and under and here. Okay. Like the double E's, a lot of E's in these names. And I'm doing it, pretty small stroke. It's not a heavy stroke at all. Okay. Oh, and we got to give them a quote too. Okay. So, you could work on this more if you wanted. You could, you could enhance things more. What I might do, well, I'm definitely going to, this is not quite ready yet, but I'm going to add some shadow here under where she's sitting to make her look like she's actually sitting down. And I think that that's kind of important. Now, I noticed in some of the books that the plaza had wallpaper that was striped. And I was considering, and I might do this, is just adding some kind of stripes in the background, just like a lighter version of, let's see if I can demonstrate that. A lighter version on top of the background. But, the idea is, try it first. You might hate it, it's like, but I think, and it's not meant to be dark. It's just meant to be a background. So you can see, maybe that would look good in there. Maybe it would be too much confusion. So that's my decision because, that's what you have to do. You have to make your own decisions on painting. All right. Any questions on the lettering or the painting as is? No? Okay, I'd really like to see some work now. If we have a few minutes, everybody, if you have something, I will spotlight you. I will
Karen,
spotlight you.
I have mine and then I have to run, so I'm gonna show it kind of fast here.
Okay,
Because I have to watch my great niece again today, so.
All right, let me get right there.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Remove all spotlighted. No.
It's Sandy.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to you, Sandy. I want to spotlight you. Replace.
It's okay. No big deal.
I
Still
don't know
have
why
food.
that's. Let's see. Well, there we are. We have mine on yours on one side. Okay, so this is a cookie jar.
Vintage cookie jar from the 50s, yeah.
God, he's eaten too many.
Yeah. The only thing, I wish I had put the cookies in, but I didn't leave myself enough room. I made him kind of big. He's like punching out to the edge of the page. So I really didn't have a place to put the cookies, but that would have been better, I think.
But he's so fun. I mean, even look at him across from Eloise, that you can tell they're not from around here.
They're from our
they've been
childhood. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you,
thank
Karen. Great lesson.
Oh, great. Anybody else?
Donna has one.
Oh, okay. Let me get to you, Donna. Let's see.
I finished my candy dish.
Wait a second.
Oh.
Sorry. Hi, Beth. Sorry. Oh, there we go. The candy dish. Yes. Aha. Oh, you took a wrapper from a bocce kiss?
Yeah, I had to eat it first, of course.
Oh, lovely excuse. Oh, man.
I couldn't put it on my painting without eating it.
There you go.
Anyway,
Oh,
yeah, this
that's
is
really
an
nice.
old
And that
candy dish
also-
that's been around for like at least three generations in the family. The lid
Wow.
comes off.
It has vintage. It says vintage. It says that that's an old piece. Great, thank you. Anybody else?
May,
4, 5,
Carol,
6, 7, 8.
can you see it?
Somebody's
Christina,
counting.
let's see, Christina. Let me see.
Think forward.
Okay, want to tell us about that?
Well, the original was this doll, and
Okay.
so I just decided to paint it, and this is how it came out.
Is she a princess or something?
I think so, a Disney princess. I found her on a walk. I went for a walk, and she was like on the ground. And my mother recently passed, and she looked like my mother. And I just kind of picked it up, and then the object kind of means something to me. So I was like, well, let me draw a painting of it.
Very nice, very nice. Well, hey, meant to be, meant to be.
Yes.
Andy, do you have your snowman?
Welcome for you.
There
Can
he
you
is.
see me?
Oh, just one second. This is Candy. Tell us about him, Candy.
It's a little teapot. It was given to me by a colleague, and it's one of my favorite things to put out around Christmas time.
He's adorable and he's so American. Look at him. He's red, so
Yes, he-
patriotic. I like that. That's such a combination, Christmas, holiday, and patriotic all at the same
Yeah,
time.
he can sort of stay out most of January and a bit of February.
Yeah, I have a snowman on my light post in the front, and people say they don't know where they are unless they see that snowman head. So
Yeah.
it's nice. Okay, anybody else? Thank you.
Oh.
Who are we where?
Carol Finkel?
Oh, Carol, let me get back. Where are we? Where? Oh, there you are. I got you. Okay, tell us about that birdie.
You have the wrong Carol.
Carol, excuse me.
This is Carol
Go ahead.
Finkel. Okay,
go ahead.
okay, was a glass figurine that was given, I think maybe for our engagement party. So it has to be over 50 years old.
Oh my goodness. Do you have it there handy?
I could run and get it. I'll get it.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Oh, good. There's another person with boxes. I don't know how far she had to run.
You want to see mine while we're waiting, Karen?
You bet. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
She's back.
Aha.
I
All
don't know,
right.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we could. Oh, now I don't know what this is in the front of this here.
All right, wait, let me try this way.
Oh, that's better.
How is-
That's good. That's good. Yes. Okay. So that was an engagement gift?
Yes.
Oh, very nice. And he's got colors on his front, his breastplate there in the front. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. Well, there you go. That's a treasure for sure. And you look at your matches your shirt. You're all purple up. Thank you very much. Very nice. Okay, Beth, you ready?
Ready.
Ready. Okay, what you got?
This
Oh
is
my
a vase for my great grandmother.
Oh,
The little girl's holding the goose, but the parent goose, her beak was broken. And one of the little wings came off one of the babies, but that adds to the antiqueness. And then this is the painting I did of it.
very nice. And you know what? You used your background to your advantage, because when something is white on white like that, you really need that enhancement in the background.
Right.
Nice. Very pretty. Thank you. So how old would you say that vase is?
Ooh, I don't know. Well, she was like in her 90s when she died, and I was a little kid, so.
Oh my God.
Very
Yeah,
old.
You better hang on. That's a beauty. Wow.
Yeah, I love
Treasure.
it.
Treasure for sure. Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, hi, this is Joyce. This was like one of my favorite childhood stuffed toys.
Oh, let me get to you, Joyce. 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Oh, how charming. Oh, lovely.
Thank you.
Did you have a name?
Ellie, the elephant.
Of course.
Oh,
Well, that's
Perfect.
beautiful. That's beautifully done. And once again, your background is helping in that case. I think sometimes, white is fine, but this really enhances your painting.
I really struggled with the shadows. How do I do shadows?
Well, you know what? Next week, I'll bring Eloise back for a few minutes and I'll wait to add those shadows. And then you can see.
Okay, thank you.
It's kind of something that you have to see to experience.
But you
Okay?
think those shadows worked okay?
Let me see it again. Let me
Yeah,
see.
I'm just not sure.
Well, you're not happy? Well, I don't think they're bad. I think they're in character. I think
Okay.
they're soft enough.
I just
really
wasn't,
do.
I wasn't sure, but I needed the shadows because it was floating.
Yeah, floating, exactly. You need it, that's
But I
where
had a lot
Eloise.
of, I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was easy for me to pick. I had two favorite ones, a teddy bear and this, and the teddy bear's brown. So I said, oh, this has colors. And I always held it by his trunk. So it
Very
looks a
nice.
lot nicer than it really is because it's really worn out.
Yeah, I see. You know what I'd like everyone to do, please, is send me a photograph to Bastille Day. Do you guys all know the let's see, something's in the chat here. Something to take off the masking fluid. Yes, I did. It's called a rubber cement pickup, and I'll show you what that's look like. Oh, it's a bail. That's what that is called when you have the piece of jewelry with where it's attached to the chain. It's called a bail. Thank you very much. Okay.
Karen?
Anybody? Yes?
Karen, it's Cheryl. I don't have anything to share, and except for one thing, a plug for the Montclair Art Museum. Does everybody know that there is a wonderful new exhibition that is all watercolor? And it just opened last weekend. I encourage you all to go see it. It's Tenacity and Resilience, the art of Jerry Pinkney. Jerry Pinkney was an illustrator, mainly of children's books for most of his career, which was more than 60 years. And it is all watercolor. So if you go to the Montclair Art Museum, you're going to see some amazing watercolors that you will, you've never seen watercolors like this before. This was his medium, and he won Caldecott Awards for his watercolors. And I had never heard of him before, but in his entire gallery of his works, the originals that were used for the illustrations for several books. So I encourage you to go visit. It's on until June.
Where is he from?
He lived in Croton-on-Hudson for years and years and years. And he died it's unfortunate because he passed away over the summer. He knew about, he worked with Gail Stavitsky, the curator at MAM, and was very excited about this show of his work, and passed away over the summer, not of COVID. But his wife and family, his grown children, were at the member opening this past Saturday, and they were married for 61 years. And she is also an author, and she spoke. But it is an amazing exhibition. I encourage you to go see it. It covers a lot of territory, and it's really wonderful. So please go.
So
You will be amazed.
Okay, we'll beat a trail. Now, this is the rubber cement pickup, which is what I take the masking fluid off with. It's just a rubber square, and mine is a little worn. You can see it's it's got dirty edges, but it doesn't affect anything, the painting or anything. But it really lifts it. Now, worst case, you don't have this, you use your fingertip. So, it's always something you can do.
And if you're lucky, you can get them at the dollar store.
Oh my goodness, John, there you are. Oh, there's our dollar store representative. Oh, I don't see your picture, but they have them now in that craft section.
Yes, in some dollar stores they do.
Okay, so there you go.
I got it too at the dollar store, but this one took off the paper a little bit, but anyway, it wasn't as gentle as the old one that I can't find. But.
Okay, well, be gentler. Okay, so this week I'd like everybody to try one piece of jewelry, anything. It can be a simple chain, it can be a ring, it can be anything, and I will continue on with those pieces of jewelry so you can see what happens next in the painting. What did I do with that? Let's see. I'll bring it back over just to give a little review here, see what's happening. Let me go to the table for a second, just to give a little update.
Karen,
Yeah.
I just did this while I was watching your jewelry.
Oh, let's see. Let me go. Let me see that.
This is a bracelet
Okay.
and very flexible, and I've had it since I was a child.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah, and this is a medallion of a sand dollar.
Uh-huh.
Can you see it?
No, not yet.
Oh, it's right on top here.
Oh, you know what? Move the paper to over this way. Yeah, there you go. Oh, okay. Is that a necklace or?
It's actually like a medallion that you hang on a chain.
Oh, okay. How big would you say it is?
It's about it's this size right here. Can you see it?
Hold it. Oh, I see. Okay. That's a real sand dollar?
You can even see the, can you see?
Yes, I can. Yep.
It's about the
Very
size of a big dollar.
Wow. Okay, we'll continue painting with that. They should be nice.
All right.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
going back, I just want to go back and look at this one more time before we say adieu. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna continue with the
Karen,
with
it's
this-
not spotlighted.
Oh, it's not?
No,
did.
you are.
How about now?
Not yet.
Oh, well, it's big on my screen.
What are you showing?
The jewelry, the
Oh.
beginnings of
Just
of the
go to her square and just hit the corner of it and it'll replace the pin. You can spotlight it yourself.
Are we there, ladies and gentlemen?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So what I'd like you to do is, if you have some work with masking fluid for your highlights on one, you might even think about trying a brush, and remember soapy water, masking fluid, soapy water. And then also here's direct painting, leaving whites, leaving highlights, the whites of the paper. So we're going to try it two different ways and see what we like, the feel. Okay. Now you can do one piece, and you can do one piece two ways. You can do one piece using the masking, the same piece doing direct painting. That's even a really nice way to work on something. Okay. All right. So we're done for this week. I'm glad to be back. And there we go. What does this say over here in the chat? The mill has a virtual tour of this Jerry Pickney too. He has beautiful painted illustrations and children's books. Okay, so you might check that out. Very good. Sounds like a great exhibit to see. I saw the opening. I wasn't there, but I saw what the opening was about. So you may get yourself there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All
Thank
righty.
you.
I'm going to sign off now. Take care. Wonderful work.
Okay.
Send me photos.
Thank you.
Send me photos, please. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Sure. Bye. Bye.